flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just for clarity's sake, we'll do a roll call. Steve Gorelnik.
Here.
Joe Napick.
Here.
Michelle Alban.
Here.
John Waco.
Here.
Okay. For John Dalton. Roll
Here.
call. Steve Gorelnik. Here. We have 6 members on here. We'll go to item number 4, which is new business, and we'll open up 4A, discussion on the mayor's proposed budget for 2021. Who would like to begin?
Okay, let's,
We'll go to item number 4, which is new.
Hi, guys.
Who wants to comment?
oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought somebody was saying something. I was just going to entertain the motion to begin the meeting as, to start as you would.
So we're in item 4A, discussion on the mayor's proposed budget. Is there any comment?
This is Lobin. I may be recognized. I'm assuming that we are going to be scheduling virtual budget workshops for the budget so that we can better understand the budget that's been presented.
Not at this point, not right now, not with the circumstances we're faced with the COVID-19 situation. I don't know if Mayor Loretti has anything else to add to that.
Well, as I said in my budget address, that the budget is the same as this year, and if you look at the majority of the departmental budgets, you'll see that there's no increase. Even over last year's budget, there were nominal increases that were just due to contractual obligations for employee staffing levels. So everything is relatively the same. You have a familiarity with the budget. If there's any specifics that you wanted to go over, I can entertain it to some extent. I wouldn't suggest that you get a lot of departmental participation, but there would be some.
Well, I mean, frankly, we just got the budget a week ago. I'm not prepared to go into specifics tonight. Based on my experience with the budget process over the last couple of years, what we have done is at our first meeting, we set dates for A, budget hearings, and B, workshops so that we can discuss the information. I have not even been provided with the copies of the backup documentation that your office and Mr. Hiller's office typically put together, which usually consists of 2 large binders of information that justify all of the proposals being made in the budget. Nor have we formally received the Board of Education budget, which I imagine has been factored into the proposal that's being made. I understand that the resolution that was passed by the Board of Aldermen, I think it was on the 21st, calls for joint departmental budget hearings to be suspended. I will tell you that based on my reading of the governor's executive orders, I believe that represents a substantial overreach on the part of the Board of Aldermen. The executive orders by the governor call for modification of both the deadlines, which is legitimate, and also the mode of public participation and public meetings. So since we have access to Zoom, we can have department meetings and public meetings via Zoom. We should be allowed to ask questions of the department heads the way we usually do. We should be allowed to review the backup documentation. We should be provided with a copy of the current budget run so that we can start to predict how much money has been spent on the various line items and how much will be spent by the end of the year. We can get some information regarding revenues, and we can help to understand why the proposals are being made the way they are, and then make recommendations for modifications. Without all of that information, we are not in any position to be able to vote on this budget one way or the other. Even if the order from the Board of Aldermen to suspend the department hearings is legitimate, which I do not believe it is, there's no reason why we can't schedule workshops. And that would be a way for us to confer with one another and with you. And we should have a month between today, May 1st, and June 1st, which is the deadline for the Board of A&T to submit the budget recommendation to the Board of Aldermen. So I'm prepared to use the next month productively to find out where we think that modifications may be made to the budget. And I would ask that we schedule department hearings and workshops so that we can fulfill our responsibility as Board of A&T members on behalf of the public to get this information out to the public.
Okay, well,
Anybody else?
excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, well, I think at this stage of the game, since, again, with the circumstances that we're faced with, and, you know, even though deadlines are, you know, suspended and so forth, I think that since everything is the same, you know, status quo, with the exception of one or two things, as the mayor was saying, I just think it's, you know, behooves us to go ahead and move on. If once everything, you know, if once all the smoke clears from this whole COVID-19 thing and we want to have, you know, something, then I can certainly entertain that and talk further with Mr. Hiller and about that.
This is Joe Napick. It's regrettable that there has been no reallocation, no opportunity to reallocate any surpluses produced by various departments to be applied to those departments that would need the money. Some of these departments that might receive the reallocated money are departments that are in effect going to be in decline because they have contractual obligations. So a flat budget is really not a flat budget, it's a declining budget. Normally we have hearings and speak with department heads during the month of April. That didn't occur, and the electronic facilities for that to have occurred did exist. And unfortunately that was not seized upon by finance to be done. So I would concur with the remarks made by Michelle Albin.
Okay. Well, you know, at this stage of the game, you know, like I said, I feel that, you know, we just need to go ahead and move on so we can get down to the business that needs to be of getting the city running. All right. So I make a motion, or do I have a motion, you know, to continue on and vote on this budget?
Well, are you making the motion?
I am.
Okay, so is there a second for discussion?
I'll second the motion. I'll second the motion.
And who is seconding?
John Boyko.
Okay, discussion. I might offer as a compromise to a vote, a specific vote on the budget today, and I do recognize that the information was not disseminated to every member on the board, and we will make an effort on Monday to have that information delivered to your house in the form of a thumb drive. Am I correct, Lynn? That will have the budget run on the thumb drive. The budget run and all the backup will be on the thumb drive. And will we provide hard copies of the budget run as well? And we will provide hard copies of the budget run as well. And if you want to submit to the finance director specific questions by department, we can start there and maybe schedule another meeting for next week.
Mr. Mayor, will the information on the thumb drive include the usual backup documentation that's been filed by the department heads?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had thought that that information was sent out 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately it wasn't. Some got it, and some didn't. So I'll see that that gets taken care of on Monday.
Okay. Speaking for myself, I have not received it, and as far as I know, Mr. Napick and Mr. Gorelnik have not received that either. And I appreciate that you're willing to provide that information and give us an opportunity to examine the budget further. In light of that, I'd like to move to table the motion.
You know, you need to keep in mind that that these numbers are the same numbers, 99% the same numbers that we have this year. So there should be a familiarity. It doesn't include any growth in anyone's budget. There is an awful lot of uncertainty in revenues that will be received. And, you know, if anybody's got a crystal ball, I would tell them to bring it to the next meeting. And we'll try to put it in play. But, you know, with that said, I don't have a lot of hope for the revenue projections that we normally get. You know, as an example, we received our last payment for the ECS grant yesterday, and the state shorted us $177,000 that we were supposed to get in this year's budget. So that puts us at a deficit, not the Board of Ed, but the city, because that was revenue that was coming to the city in the form of the ECS. So it's things like that you know, I have seen over the years that are going to come into play, and quite honestly, people in Hartford and Washington, I think are flying by the seat of their pants, and it's hard. It's easy to promise things and pass out money. At the end of the day, someone has to pay for all this, and I don't think they're prepared to deal with that. In fact, I know they're not prepared to deal with that. So with that said, you know, I think that maybe that's the approach that we'll take. Linda, we have those documents and those thumb drives accessible today? Yes. Because if we do, I will have the police department deliver to the 3 individuals that didn't get it to their homes over the weekend. And then Mr. Hiller will contact you all on Wednesday, and perhaps we'll schedule another meeting for Friday at some time. Sound like a plan?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Yes, thank you.
This is Steve Gorelnik. Will we have a joint meeting with the Board of Aldermen and the Board of Education?
I'm not sure you'll have a joint meeting with the Board of Aldermen. You can request a meeting with the Board of Education to see where that goes, but I'm not sure if that'll happen either. But you know, I don't know that for certain.
Okay.
You know, they're facing some serious issues in terms of their contractual obligations that are very rich, and you know, quite honestly, revenues that are just not available to support these contracts. They're going to have to rethink what they do, just like everyone else.
We certainly appreciate the position that everybody is
in. In a second, if the motion maker and the seconder want to withdraw both those motions, I'll accept that at this point, and then we'll plan to schedule another meeting for next week. And in the meantime, you can send your thoughts via email to Paul Hiller about how you would like to proceed.
Well, I make a motion that we just, you know, accept the budget as presented, and we'll move on as you were talking about, you know, at a later date.
And I've moved to table that motion. Do I have a second on the motion to table?
Yes. Steve Gorelnik, I second it.
All right, you're tabling what now?
Well, you had suggested that the motion to pass the budget gets drawn, and I did not hear that the motion was being drawn. So I'm moving to table the motion to accept the budget.
Okay, so there's no discussion on the motion to table. All those in favor, and let's do a roll call vote so I know where everyone is. Steve Gorelnik?
I move
motion.
to table it. Table it.
Okay, you moved it, but are you in favor of the table?
Yes.
In favor. Joe Napick? of the table?
He might be muted.
No?
He's probably muted.
Michelle, I assume that you're in favor of the table?
Yes.
Okay, Jay Quinn, are you in favor of the table?
I am not.
John Boyko, are you in favor of the table?
I am not.
John Belden, are you in favor of the table?
Yeah, we need to at least look at the documents.
Okay, so we have a 3-2 in favor of tabling. Motion is tabled.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me who did not get any of the supporting information. I know 3 people did not. John Belden, did you receive your information?
No, I did not.
Okay, so we'll get that to you over the weekend. Jay Quinn, have you gotten that that information yet?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, and so then we'll just send it all to everyone's home, all 6 people. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion for adjournment at this point, and you can submit your request via the finance department by email. Do I have a motion to that effect?
I second.
Is there a motion to that effect?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Is this Boyko?
Boyko, yes.
Motion to adjourn by Boyko, second by Quinn. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, you too.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.